This is Christie, Aphrodite, and welcome. I'm glad you came. Could you tell the guests or the listeners a little more about yourself?
Yeah, well, let's see, where do we begin? I'm the host of Soul Journeys Radio, and some of my greatest interests and my passions have to do with natural healing and metaphysical type topics, a lot of spiritually incorrect radio. I heard Austin was looking forward to holding hands with everyone and singing Kumbaya, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's not really Austin's thing, is it, Austin?
We're gonna have to queue up a Kumbaya, my lord, for the switchboard when I go off the deep end.
Definitely. Oh goodness. So I don't know. It's funny. I really have never sung Kumbaya myself, at least in a serious setting. But it sounds good. I don't know. It's so funny to me because I live in the Bible Belt. And, my method, I'm a nutrition coach, and, I kind of learned the hard way by being sick my whole life. And so I, tried everything out there, and then I made this really simple discovery, but so profound, where I found out that Mother Nature, or God, however you refer to the source, whatever makes our heart beat or whatever makes us blink our eyes or whatever grows those beautiful flowers and, makes them survive these horrendous tornadoes, whatever that force is, I found out was smarter than man. And, so anyways, natural healing became a big topic in my life. I was sick, literally, ever since I can remember. Started off with asthma, and, so doctors gave me pills and steroids and inhalers, which led to different side effects. So instead of, trying to find the cause of the damage, they instead would give me more drugs. And, here I am, this little kid, swallowing all these pills and looking up to these gods wearing white coats and labs and just thinking that they were it. And everything they told me was the truth. And they knew how to fix Mother Nature because she was just so stupid, she would make people like me sick for no reason. So that's kind of my journey in the last, we're in 2008 was when I got out of my wheelchair. I was diagnosed with cancer, diabetes insipidus. That gave me like 100 live wounds on my legs. I had to wear diapers because I lost my kidneys and didn't know that I had to go to the bathroom until after my legs were wet. Talk about embarrassing. Anyways, I had strokes, I had seizures, I was diagnosed with MS and lupus and given, the whole disabled parking, card for your parking and driving around in a wheelchair with my children feeding and clothing me. And when I got tired of being sick and tired and finally realized that the methods that I had was taught and known to, basically grown to know and love, which basically means I really didn't know anything, but I believed everything I was told. I majored in nutrition because I always had an interest in health, but I was sick all the time. So anyways, it was kind of a whirlwind event that led me to finding that I really could heal myself, but healing to me is much more than just physical. It's much more than a superfood. It's much more than a magical pill or, a magical spell or, fake positive thinking and drinking the right water and getting the right exercise. And so here I am today, just able to, share what I've learned, hopefully, with whoever's ready to start taking charge of their health as well. And that's been my passion for the past 5 years.
What is your status now, health-wise?
Oh, my gosh. I've never been healthier. I'm 40, And I don't know, people who know me, I have a lot of 20-year-old friends, and they're just blown away when they find out how old I am.
Really? You don't look 40, that's for sure.
Thank you. I completely restored my health. All of these things that I was taught were, supposedly incurable, completely reversed it. And, I mean, I have to admit, when I first heard that I could heal myself, I'm like, dude, whatever. You're smoking crack or whatever it is, sounds great to you. But really my goal, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with my drive. I was a single mother in a wheelchair, and here senior citizens were picking me up off the ground, not the other way around like I thought it was supposed to be. And doctors telling me I had 6 months to live, but really didn't even give me a specific reason. I wanted better for my children. I could not resign myself to a life where they're feeding me and helping me go to the bathroom and doing things for me. So I was determined to find another way, which of course led to my studies in physiology and learning about the human body and paying closer attention to nature, realizing that the body really is designed to heal itself. Like say you cut off a tail of a lizard or a worm or something, and it grows right back. Well, we're designed that way too. The only problem is we're not nourishing it with the proper fuel. I mean, honestly, most of us probably spend more money and time and effort making our car run properly, giving that the right fuels, oil, gas, power steering fluid, windshield wiper, all of that, power steering. And up until, 5 or 6 years ago, I never gave my body a second thought. I just figured, well, hey, it's 99-cent chicken sandwiches at Burger King. Or, hey, this ice cream is only $1.29 per gallon. Or, hey, it's 8 Reese's for $1. And, obviously I wasn't shopping for health because I really didn't know much about it. And the funny thing is, majoring in nutrition, I thought that I did. Reading AMA, American American Medical Association encyclopedias, I thought I did know. And so it was a total paradigm change, switching from putting my health in other people's hands and trying all of these experimental brain-disabling drugs, which I definitely suffered the consequences of, to going to getting to the point where I realized that I actually did have a say-so. And initially, Tammy, Austin, at the time, I didn't believe that I could come to a full recovery. I really expected, all I wanted to do was to be able to go to the bathroom by myself and be able to make my own meal, go to the bank, grocery store, maybe take my children to softball practice and things like that. It's been quite a ride finding out that not only was she right, that I really could heal myself if given the proper nutrition, that I would get even better than before. So I'm probably just as blown away as you are.
That last part of what you said.
Oh, the last thing I said was I'm probably just as blown away as you are.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to know, what did you do? What did you do to heal?
Okay, well, it's definitely multiple things. It wasn't just one thing, like I said. No, there wasn't just this one magic pill, actually there kind of was. Because that's what I actually did first. When I started learning about real nutrition and how to nourish my body properly and essential oils and weed eating, these are all things I do now. But the first thing I did initially, and it was just, a blessing. I met a woman who had left mainstream medicine because she had found out that she was killing people unknowingly. And she worked in intensive care and came across a product that was made with brown seaweed. The element is phacoidin. And anyone who wants to go check it out with your own eyes and see exactly what I'm talking about, you can go to PubMed NIMS.gov. That's the National Institute, Library of Medicine, which is basically all there is as far as mainstream medicine is concerned. If you go there, there's a little search bar, type in Fucoidan, that's Fucoidan, and you'll see with your own eyes there's 1,003 published reports of its effectiveness. So this, is good in one way, but I think the downside is that your doctors aren't allowed to tell you about it. So that was, kind of a red flag, like, wow, wait a minute. So they know about this, and they're not telling us. So why? And, of course, then that goes, leads you down your path of discovery about what's going on in mainstream medicine and big pharma, and finding out that, this little weed can literally help people heal all of these things. I mean, Tammy, not even my story. The woman, when I came across her, when she was working in the hospital, there were people on their deathbed, okay? They were just sent there to die. They gave up on them. Oh, nothing we could do for you. And when she came across it, she gave them her Modifilan. She saw instant results, like people that were, on their deathbed, blind, okay, lost their eyesight, hadn't walked in years. She gave this to them, and within 2 weeks, they're throwing footballs with their grandchildren. And, yeah, and so this is back on the very beginning of me being on talk shoes, so 5.5 years ago when I started finding this out. And other people that called in the show that she would help, she would try it. There was this one woman from Maryland. She would listen, from her bed. She said she was bedridden for 4 years, and she started taking it, and 3 weeks later she was mowing her entire lawn all by herself, which was like 100, and I don't remember exactly, but over 100 acres. This is a woman then, 55, 60 years old that had not been out of bed in 4 years. So anyways, when I tried it, I'm just like, well, okay, I know I'm probably not supposed to be eating carne asada burritos and Domino's pizza so much, and I'm probably not supposed to be drinking these energy drinks, and, but it's just too hard to change all this. I can't afford a juicer. I can't do, all of these things that, people will suggest that you need to do for health. The only thing that I had done at the time was the Modifilan, and I started feeling a difference immediately. It took me to get out of the wheelchair entirely, 7 months max. But in the last 2 or 3 months, I was already regaining so much strength that I could get out of my wheelchair and hold on to things and walk, or sometimes even walk for 10 feet without any support. I mean, the recovery was just ridiculous. So that was the first thing that I did. But through that, this product is so amazing because it's ground seaweed, so it's chock full of your iodine and all of, minerals that we're deficient in, cobalt, zinc, manganese. There's 92 trace minerals in there that when my body started getting the food and restoring the mineral balance that it needed, I started craving things that I wasn't craving before. So instead of getting Marie Callender's microwave dinner, or craving, French fries and French toast, super crispy and greasy and salty and sugary, I started craving cucumbers and apples and raw foods. I just started getting closer to nature, and it just made everything so much easier. And so that was pretty much shortly after my introduction to that. Another friend tried to help me while I was trying to walk, and he said, if I send a woman, a massage therapist, a holistic healer to your house, would you let her work on you? I'm like, well, yeah, I'd like to have a massage, thanks. So this beautiful woman came over, and, this was totally beyond me. I mean, I always knew I loved herbs, like basil or oregano, cilantro, things like that, but it was really more for flavor. It's just what you do when you cook, and, I'm a big fat Greek eater, so that's, we have lots of herbs, and sauces and super spicy. I mean, not spicy like hot, but, you know, flavorful, I should say. And anyway, she asked me what I knew about weeds. And I'm like, cool, what kind, baby? So she suggested that I go out to my yard and pick some dandelions. And I'm like, okay, whatever you're smoking, can I have some, please? And she was serious. So, you know, there I was on the table. I couldn't really walk, and so my children went out and they picked 6 or 7 dandelions. We brought them in and made a tea. And that was literally, dandelions are the gateway drug. That was my introduction to herbs and real herbs, weeds, wild foraging, which, of course, upped the ante and really put my healing path, I mean, just, you know, revved it up a notch. And so from getting out of the wheelchair, like, entirely, that was like 6 or 7 months, it probably took me another year after that to walk perfectly upright without any pain ever again. And anyways, there you go, kind of rambling.
No, that's awesome. I mean, the main things that you've talked about are just, you didn't change a whole lot. I mean, it kind of happened naturally after you started with this Modifilan. Modifilan? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
And what is the main ingredient in that? Is this phrodiedhere?
Phrodiedhere? Yeah, I'll put it in the chat, and yeah, I'll give out here. I'll just put the link right here, pubmed.gov. I'm typing it in, so that, like I said, proves that mainstream medicine knows about it. Okay, phrodiedhere. Search. Here we go. 1,003 published reports of its effectiveness. I'm posting that link in the text chat right now so everyone can see.
And if you're listening to us from another source and you'd like to join the chat, just go to freedomizerradio.com. If you want to call in with questions for Christie, the number is 347-324-704. We actually have a caller on the line right now, if you don't mind taking some calls.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I just want to say one more thing about the phrodiedhere and the link I posted there where you all can go read about it with your own eyes, is this is what the doctors take when they get sick, okay? When you get sick, they have a little drug, they have some radiation, they chop off body parts or cut them out and scoop them out, and all of these things that obviously are not very gentle and loving and go against the principles of nature. But when they themselves get sick, this is what they take.
That is good to know. You always want to know what the medicine man's doing, because all they care about is getting that fat wallet. That's all they care.
Well, I just saw a survey of 75% of doctors, if they were diagnosed with cancer, would not take chemotherapy themselves. What does that tell you?
Everybody knows. Yeah, everyone knows radiation kills. I mean,
right.
Kindergartners know that. You don't need a medical degree or a PhD or anything to know that. So, yeah. Anyways, it's just it's just a terrible profit-driven system. And, you know, it really sucks for the doctors themselves, because I know most, if not even all, but definitely most, go into the business of healing or medicine, different types of medicine, because they want to help people. They have the desire to heal. I think we all have that, actually, innate within us. And It's just terrible how everything gets twisted around. And so mainstream medicine, I mean, it's wonderful. They can, fix people's organs when they're born outside their body. Or, if a bear chops off your arm, they can sew it back on. And, all of those things are wonderful when they're used for the miracles. The problem is the insurance companies and the big business, and so the doctors are under wraps. And best case scenario, if you teach your patient how to heal themselves with nutrition, best case scenario, you're fired and lose your license. A lot of the rest of them end up dead or in jail. So,
yeah, That is so true.
Yeah, we know how big pharma works.
Yeah, in fact, a woman who taught me about this, and, you know, other things too, my greens and clay, and, you know, just giving me the positive motivation I needed to, you know, come to the conclusion that there really was something I could do to help myself. She ended up in witness protection program, because when all of these people started healing in the hospital, she was extremely elated and excited and going, hey, Dr. This, and going to the heads of the hospital and saying, look, we finally have a cure for AIDS and cancer, and look at how they're healing. And she thought that they would be happy and immediately start incorporating it into their practice, but instead they tried to kill her. She had to move to another country, and they had to put her in witness protection program because they actually followed her over there, and then they had to bring her back up to North Dakota. But part of her protection package included her not helping anyone else anymore. So I kind of think that, you know, when that happened to her, I told her I'm never going to shut up despite the consequences. And as you know, I have experienced consequences. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding, and I'm still standing, and everybody's happy and healthy, and I wouldn't change a thing. Anyone who wants to learn how to heal themselves, I'll do anything I can to help them.
Let's see what our caller has to say. 608, you're on with Christie.
Hello there. This is Matthew in Wisconsin, and
Hi.
I just want. Hey, how are you, Christie?
Good.
Good. I love the conversation, and I just want to add to it with my personal testimony, because back in March, I'm very wealthy to begin with, so I can afford the best treatment that you can afford, which is actually a curse, because I went into the hospital and I had a migraine for 10 days, and they did a little guinea pig experiment on me, and they pumped me full of drugs that they probably shouldn't have put as many as they did. They gave me 6 drugs in an IV, and immediately my body went into shock, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand. I started having neurological problems. Ever since then, I had to go to the ER every other day for 2.5 months, and I didn't think I was going to survive. And in the meantime, I had spent literally thousands and thousands of dollars to try to figure out what I could do to help myself, because it was affecting everybody. And fortunately, just recently, this was only probably about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, Christie, I found you, and I hired you as my health coach, and I did that based on the premise that you were in a wheelchair and you found yourself out, and I could relate to your story somewhat. But I took the products you recommended, and this has only been 3 weeks ago. I could hardly stand for long enough to go to the mailbox, and today I just squatted with 200 pounds, and I did 5 sets, and I swear to God I'm healed. Like, this is the most amazing thing. So I want to tell everybody out there that this is the real deal, and Christie knows exactly what she's talking about, and if you got some health issues, she is the person to go to.
Wow. I literally have perpetual goosebumps from the two of you. So it's awesome.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so glad. I mean, actually, it's kind of funny because had I not been so effective in helping you, I would have had a job next month. So
yes, you're not like the medical system. You're not milking everybody for money every month. You actually get the job done. So unfortunately for you, it's not.
No, that's so awesome. I mean, I remember when we were talking and you said you couldn't even walk through the mailbox, and then a couple weeks later you were doing push-ups with your wife and your children on your back, and I mean, now you're squatting 200 pounds. That's incredible. Good for you, Matthew.
Well, yeah, the other part of that story was not only was I not able to do that, I had a fitness background, and so my mind wanted to do it, but what happened was I would get down and I would do a push-up, and I would do about 10 of them, and I had to call an ambulance because my body would go back into shock. And this was happening all the time, and it was just running me up financially, emotionally, and I thought there was no hope. I thought there was no way out of the situation, and I can't believe what's happened in 2.5 weeks, Christie. It's just, it almost seems like it's like a miracle, you know, like it really is.
It is. Oh, that's so good to hear. That makes me so happy.
That is really cool.
Right on. Yay.
Well, we are about at time to thank our sponsors. And we're back. I kind of dropped the ball there in ad land because I was sitting there just with this goofy smile on my face watching the chat. But anyway, I picked it back. I kind of realized, wait, here I am. That's where I'm at. Okay, got to do this. But we're back.
Yeah, that was a really nice testimonial. I mean, really nice. The proof is in the pudding. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry. I found out during the break that you guys could hear me typing, and I'm like, wait, my mute button's on, it's red, and yes, I went and played with the settings to try to change it, and yeah, I guess I don't have mute, so alrighty then.
That's
sorry about that. I muted myself eventually, but okay. Sorry, I apologize.
No problem. Do you want to tell the listeners where they can hook up with you to find out more?
Oh, totally. My website is souljourneysradio.com, and we also have a forum that you can click to from the main site, or you can just go straight to forums.souljourneysradio.com, and we have a ton of free articles. All of it's free. All of the archives are free. All of the articles are free. So anyone could, just go and listen to, I don't know, I've done like 1,000 shows, so at least a good 200, 300, maybe 400 have to do with healing yourself, and all different doctors and different approaches, and there's a wide variety of information. From raw doctors to doctors that are, total carnivores, and Ayurvedic practitioners, essential oils, energy, all different types of healing modalities and different topics. So that's souljourneysradio.com, and there's, you can click on the contact form to contact me. And I also, like a retard, I just barely made a Facebook page like 3 days ago called My True Essence. The exact link here, I'm pulling it up right now. Here we go. On Facebook.com, I guess you can search for My True Essence, or you can just go to My True Essence Healing Oils. And so you can, I answer questions on the page, and, send me an email, and I'll do everything I can to help you. But I just want you to know, you asked about how I healed myself and what is healing to me. And it's more, yes, Modifilan, if there was a magic pill out there, I would definitely say that that's the closest anyone's going to get to a magic pill. But, see, this is the thing. Number one, I had to believe that I could heal.
So this is the part that you talk about your emotional and spiritual health has to do with your physical health as well.
Absolutely. I started to see how things in my life, either circumstances, environment, fear, trauma, anger, rage, all of these things, how they were affecting me physically as well. So, I know when I see people sometimes, I just have this, I want to help everyone. I just want everyone to be happy and healthy and be the best they can be. I don't want to see people suffer. I suffered in hospitals for 35 years, and I don't want to see that because I know that it's unnecessary. But some people, when you meet them, and, you'll just drop little seeds and say, hey, did you know that you can heal naturally? They're like, no, you're crazy. Basically the same response that I had the first time I was told that. And, so number one, I think I wrote something today. If you believe that you can't heal, you're probably right. Because it it starts in the mind, but so does disease, all disease. When you look at what is disease really, it's just the opposite of ease. So the key, how we differ in naturopathy and holistic healing from mainstream medicine, we look at the cause, not try to treat the symptoms. So we identify the cause, and the cause can, there's as many different causes and cures of disease as there are people on the planet. So we look at the entire person, their lifestyle, their thoughts. Thoughts are energy. Everything is energy. It's just at different vibrations. And, when you really understand the mechanics, for instance, okay, you chop down a tree and you think, oh, the tree is gone. But no, actually, it's not. It's either burned and the ashes used as fertilizer and the smoke goes into the atmosphere and it's being transferred out there, or it's a table or a desk or a drum or, so it changes form and nothing actually ever goes away. So we have the power to change the form of our thoughts. You have to first think something before you can actually see it. For instance, whatever it is, if I talked about this on the show the other day, and, getting into the emotional causes, everything we do, if you gently notice what your emotion is at the time, for instance, when you want chocolate, for example, I notice when I want chocolate, if I ask myself why I really want the chocolate before I actually get it, I find that, maybe I'm feeling like I need a little love. I need a little companionship. Maybe there's someone I need to give me a hug, or I need to hug my dog, or I need to talk about something, or I need to let some kind of emotion out. Same thing with smoking. When you reach for a cigarette or to roll your own tobacco or whatever, notice what feeling is going on at the time. And I found that it was universally true that we were suppressing a certain emotion and, something that we were feeling. And I totally understand that because emotions can get messy and dark and yucky, and it's hard, and nobody wants to cry or be laughed at or pointed fingers at or told they're a baby or they're weak, or we don't want to tell ourselves we're weak, right? Because society's pressure, oh, you got to be strong. All you got to do is just, work hard and, get a better job or work harder and, do more. But we never actually sit and think and feel. We are so distracted by these things. So there isn't, all of these changes didn't happen for me overnight, okay? I will say now that it's become part of my life, it is extremely simple, and that was my whole goal. I wanted to find something easy because let's face it, we're all lazy. I'm lazy. I want the easy way out just like everybody else. People, it's funny, I had a girlfriend come over and she was like, gosh, how is your house so clean? I can't keep my house clean. And, and I gave her it's like, look, I'm lazy. So I just don't make the messes, or I put things back immediately so I don't have to look for it, and I don't have to have those days or weeks where you're stuck, cleaning up all these messes that have accumulated. Well, the same thing with your body. These emotions, if they are not expressed, they become toxic. It's no different than, say, a toxic waste dump, okay? We think that we can pick up all this trash, millions, billions, if not trillions of pounds of, plastic bottles and cans and, all of the stuff that we throw away. And, the garbage man comes and we never think about it, right? But what's happening is he's putting it somewhere in this big pile. And what do? We cover it up and think it's never going to come out. But what happens is the toxins seep into the earth. They seep into the water supply. Say there's a river going by or a lake, and then we drink that. It seeps up into the air, and what happens? We get sick. Same thing with our emotions. We are, we're the same way. So, for instance, I had a lot of healing to do, not just physically. I believe the physical was a manifestation of where I was emotionally. And without, boring anyone on all the gory details, I will just say I had a lot to heal from. Sexual abuse, trauma, various means of torture, etc. So I was carrying these things with me. And, of course you can't blame the child. If that's all they know is rape and abuse and, being put down and all of these things, they start to believe it. And then it shapes the world around them. They think that that's all there is. And so we want to fight to stay in our comfort zone. Anything that's outside that, we automatically reject it. Okay, like, oh, you can't heal. Oh, I'll never heal. I've been to all the best doctors in the world. And, and the other part of it is we tend to take it on ourselves. We begin to own that disease. And sometimes it's almost like a badge of honor. Like, hey, well, I have this, and I have to take all these different pills. I'm, look how special I am. And I go to the doctor, and he cares about me. He gives me another drug. And, if I hold on to this sickness, then I'll keep being dependent on somebody. Somebody will take care of me. Or the government will give me a check. Or I'll have a special parking pass. Or, whatever it is. We hold on to our dis-ease for a reason. It's serving us somehow, some way. And sometimes we find that the way it's serving us is pretty dysfunctional. And, we're probably not aware of that if we haven't been exposed to anything else, because that dysfunction is totally normal to us because that's all we know at the time. So my healing had a lot more to do with more than changing my diet and removing fluoride and having healthy water and introducing seaweed and dandelions and nettles and essential oils and H2O2 and it actually had to do with me fixing my stuff, me fixing the anger that I had carried with me all the way from childhood. And, it's totally understandable when something bad happens, somebody hurts you and does you wrong, it hurts. But instead of feeling the emotion, we're taught in this society, oh, suck it up. Right? And especially men, poor men, oh, don't show your feelings. Oh, you're sassy. You're crying like a little girl. We're just, oh, you're a yellow-bellied coward, or, don't be a wuss. And so they get picked on. So men especially are taught, don't feel these emotions. And, some women too. I grew up in a household where I wasn't allowed to express emotion. You get beat up, and that's it. If you cry about it or, try to say something about it, well, guess what? You get hurt even more. So, there was a lot of repressed, stuck, dead energy in me that I carried on as reality. I had no idea the possibilities out there and that I actually had an effect by changing my thinking. It's spiritual physics is what it is. And releasing my need for, say, revenge, or releasing, starting to forgive these people and love these people. And I don't mean love them like, hey, you're my best friend, come over into my home and let me make you dinner, you're my best friend, let's, go to Paris together. No, not like that. We can love them from afar, the people that do us harm, and release that hatred towards them and realize that whatever we went through at the time was actually what we needed. For instance, my physical health. Thank you. When people talk about it, they'll be like, oh, you poor thing. You were in a wheelchair. You had cancer. You lost your eyesight and peed your pants. And, and it's like, no. I'm like, thank you. I am so thankful for those experiences and even the ones that have hurt me because they made me stronger. And I needed that 35 years of illness, in and out of the hospital, taking every drug there was to find my path, to find the better way. So when we start looking at each of these circumstances as blessings, as opposed to holding on to, the victim mentality and, oh, poor me, and nobody knows the trouble I've seen, right? And all of that. And, I'm not trying to make light of anyone's path and their plight. There is so much to be, that can make us sad and angry, and people hurting other people unnecessarily, or maybe even they hurt you. But see, they're all part of this little puzzle in this divine mechanism, whatever the hell it is, that we call life. And they technically are our servants.
I have a question for you, Christie, based on what you were just talking about, and this could potentially help me. What if your situation is that you have to have contact with a person who is still hurting you?
Yeah, that's terrible. We talk about that a lot, like whether they're psychopaths or energy vampires. And, the unfortunate situation is sometimes you have to work with them. Sometimes they're in your family. Sometimes they're your neighbor. And, it is a tedious situation, but you can learn to love and accept them where they are. Don't release that need to want to fix them or to have them validate you and love you too. That was a big one for me, because if someone didn't love me automatically, I would totally take it personally and, oh, nobody loves me. And, so of course then those thoughts start coming in, and then guess what happens? I attract situations to where somebody's going to hurt me again, over and over and over. We keep repeating that same lesson, just like the rat in the cage and the wheel, until we finally release that need, whether, it's revenge or some kind of battle, entanglement. So, if there's a situation where you have to be with somebody hurting you, I think the best thing you can do is just smile, be happy, and fulfill and enrich and nurture yourself. There's nothing you can do to change them. There's nothing anyone can do to change anyone. There was nothing anyone could do to change me and my stuck emotions, my horrible physical health. There was nothing anyone can do until I made the decision. And they say, when the student's ready, the teacher will come. And it's just been so true in my life. I would just ask God or whoever. And, if you don't believe in God or a God or many gods, whatever, it's totally not about religion. To me, God is much more than that. It's that source, as I said before, that beats your heart and designs all of this perfectly. But whatever that is, whatever brought you here, just leave it up to them. Ask her, ask him, whoever your God or creator is, and just say, look, this is a really horrible situation. It's hurting me emotionally, and I really don't know how to deal with it. Can you handle it for me? And, once you start giving thanks for everything you have, no matter how destructive it is, you give thanks for each of these lessons and people who come into your life and everything you have, it just falls into place automatically. This reminds me, we have this amazing gem on our show, Tobias Lars, who is like the most spiritually incorrect person you will ever meet. He is wild and he is raw, but oh so gentle and healing at the same time. But he has been such a good teacher to me, because he wouldn't let me fall into that mentality. Like sometimes I would be like, gosh, Tobias, you just don't know. How would you feel if someone did that to you? you know, I mean, they're always mean to me, and they tried to burn my house, and, you know, they filed false reports about me and beat me, or, you know, whatever it is. He said, Christie, you have to look in yourself. Where is this coming from? You have to look at yourself honestly. And when I look back, you know that saying, you become what you fight? I was so guilty of that because, you know, I know that we all get caught into, let's say, political issues. Or, you know, whatever it is, everybody has a cause, and they want to do good, and they want to save the world, right? Save the planet, save the puppies, save the dolphins. Whatever it is, it takes two to battle. And when we have that need to fight, that's what we're going to attract energetically. And when I learned, like, I mean, I was being stalked so bad, it was ridiculous. And there was a time in my life where I thought it's always going to be this way, until Tobias introduced me to the spiritual physics, the laws of spiritual physics, and how when we release our need on whatever level, maybe it's from a past life, if you don't believe in that, okay, cool, maybe it's, you know, you're just a different vibration, or, you know, and all of these things are just words and labels either. I hesitate to use them, but because I don't really look at things that black and white anymore. But, you know, this one conversation we had in particular, I was just like crying. And initially I thought, God, he's kind of heartless, you know. It might be nice if he gets to experience this next life, and then he'll know, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, what a jerk I am, you know, and so I, of course, when people started doing, say, mean things, I don't really know exactly what's going on with you, but I'll just, you know, use any random examples. When you have that need to get them back, well, guess what? We gave them permission to get us.
You know what my problem is? And I've already got the answer from what you've said. But the problem with me is I need for this person to realize, you know, what they're doing is wrong and stop being so hateful towards me.
Yeah, I totally understand that feeling. And it's so, I feel that. I feel that so deeply. And there's no easy answer, honey. It's all takes self-reflection and looking in the mirror. And when we feel that we need that validation from other people, I mean, maybe this person is there just specifically, maybe God put that person there to torture you until you discover your inner power and that you don't need not only this person's approval, but anybody's approval.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have totally reached, you know, I've been practicing some of this because of this situation. I've been trying to, you know, I have to get through it, and I don't want to, you know, turn into an alcoholic or whatever destructive behavior I could have because of the situation that I find myself in. So I think that has got to be the most difficult thing, is to let go of resentments, and especially when there's still always a new thing to resent being presented to you, you know?
Definitely. I mean, look, chemtrails, big pharma, GMOs, I mean, we're constantly bombarded with things that make us want to fight, right? And it's natural, you know, but until we get past that need to fight, there will always be a fight. When we lose that need, they magically go away. And I'm not joking. I'm telling you, these things I learned the hard way. And so that's why I thank them, whether they're the stalkers or the dumb, you know, forced druggings or, you know, whatever it is. I am so blessed to have those experiences because it forced me to really look inside. And I do, it's not easy because we want to blame everyone else. It's just, it's natural. And we're taught that. We're taught that from birth, okay? And we go to school, and what do we learn? We don't learn how to think. We learn how to follow the leader. And if you step out of line, well, you are ridiculed, right? And then we learn that, well, my team is better than your team. My school is better than your school. My football team is better than your football. It's not even our football team, you know? It's so funny how we take on these things so personally, like it's my team or they play just for me or I'm on it or I own it. It's not, but it's that whole divide and conquer mentality that breeds the separation. So not only are we separating ourselves, we're separating ourselves from ourselves, our body from our spirit, our heart from our mind.
I don't know. Some of this to me sounds like you're actually a little cognitive dissonant about yourself. I mean, I can't buy that someone abusing someone else is in God's plan, and that it's good for you. I'm not buying that. I can't go there. It doesn't ring true with me. If someone is abusing someone, else, it's not there for a positive thing. It's not there for an experience. It's there as abuse, period. I just can't go there. I was listening to what you were saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
But that didn't ring true with me. I mean, if someone is abusing someone else, be it physically, mentally, or spiritually, it's abuse. I just can't.
I agree.
Why don't we we'll try to get the volume for this right. But Christie, why don't you speak to that when we come back from our commercial break? Because it's a good point.
Absolutely.
And I think we need to definitely see what you think about that. So we'll be right back. Everybody stick around.
You know the Constitution.
Okay, we're back. Christie, Austin, and I were talking before the show, and we were talking shop about running a radio show. And I said I could play the commercials, but I didn't say I could do it well.
It's great.
We're back from that another mess up on my part. But anyway, back to what Austin was saying, because I knew, Austin, I was just waiting for you to launch.
I was biding my time, and I was going to launch a little earlier, but I got a little stepped on over there, so I just went with the flow and let it over and stew. But yeah, I just can't see that. I can't see the rationale of let's go to an extreme like the Holocaust in Germany. These people getting gassed and worked to death and starved to death. I can't see any positive from that. I just can't. I just can't see any positive from anything like that, any experience. What kind of freaking experience is that? They're getting murdered. They're getting killed. They're getting used.
I understand. I was locked in cages naked as a child, forced to watch live people burn and, being raped and sodomized. And so I totally understand where you're coming from, Austin. In fact, the conversation that I had with Tobias that I had shared with you earlier that left me in tears, I was telling him the same thing. Like, how could it be good? And see, that's the first step, is asking these questions and then listening. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, it's great. Hey, everybody, let's all go get raped because, Christie says it's good. No, that's not what I'm saying. But, see, here's the question. How long do you want to hold on to that which causes you pain? Now, of course, we all have, it's our choice. We can be angry about something till the day we die, but the fact of the matter is it's going to come out in other areas of our life. Suppressing these things, or the anger, or the rage, and in fact, like heart issues and such, even cancer and things like that on an energetic level, they stem from holding on to those things. And so the conversation you and I are having right now, I said and asked the exact same questions you did. So the key, well, I can't tell you the key because I don't have all the answers. I just know the little bit I do based on my experiences and how I've seen it come into play. So I mean, do these people that have done these things to me, does that mean I'm going to invite them into my home for lunch and, you know, take them to the movies or, you know, take them out to dinner and do that? No. But what I'm doing is releasing them on an energetic level because, see, when we think, when we're angry at someone for doing something, we tend to harbor that, and we think that, oh, well, I hate that person, so, you know, we're hurting them. But in actuality, all we're doing is hurting ourselves. It's, you know, we got the backpacks packed, and it's like carrying all this extra weight with us. So it's, can we let it go and move on and live a happy life in spite of what happened, or do we want to perpetuate the war, and internally and externally? For instance, okay, I mean, I don't want to get in a political debate or anything, but I'll use the example you brought up, you know, Nazis and Jews, and let's not forget the Polacks and the Italians and everyone else, okay, or, you know, Native Americans, or whatever it is. Everybody's been hurt by someone at some time, every single individual. And we can, you know, that whole look at the governments fighting with each other, or mafia fighting with each other. You killed my brother, so I'm going to get revenge, and, you know, even if it takes me my whole life, and so then you go and kill their brother. And so, of course, their brother comes and kills your wife, and then you're, you know, it just goes back and forth forever and ever and ever. And, you know, when you look at these individuals that have done you harm or have made mistakes and, you know, done things that we know are just sick and wrong, I mean, they are. These things are not inside me, so I don't understand why people would do these things at all. But they did happen. Now, do we want to live yesterday or 60 years ago or 300 years ago, or do we want to live for today and make a better tomorrow? So that's what it's about.
It's still happening today. It's still happening today.
I was facing 56 years, so I know what's going on today.
So what are we supposed to do? Have a kumbaya moment and pretend that these things aren't happening and love these people that are doing these evil, psychotic things? Love these sociopaths? Yeah, no. I can't go there.
No, I understand that. But if you want to devote your life to fighting them, whoever they are, then you'll be caught in that perpetually. But I do want to say, in my experience, and I've seen it work, when I left the need to fight back the people who had done me and people I know wrong, you know, in particular myself or my children, they went away. They stopped doing these things. And I never thought that would happen. When I first, you know, was introduced to the laws of spiritual physics, I'm like, dude, whatever. You know, I'm going to be mad at my dad for the rest of my life, and I'm going to take it to my grave because he deserves to die. Well, yeah, those are real, valid feelings and emotions. What we need to do, the key, really, you have to feel it to heal it. So get out that anger, get out that rage, express it, verbalize it, do your show, write about it, cry about it, do whatever you need to do so that it no longer has power over you. And I really believe, and I've seen firsthand, how when I lost the need to fight back people who had hurt me, they went away. They just disappeared. It wasn't in my reality anymore. And I'm sure they live, they exist somewhere, but they can't come into my bubble anymore. It's just, there's a disconnect there. So that's all I'm saying. And I think that if we all take, you know, we can't change anyone else, but we can change how we feel about it. And look, 35 years, and I'm not completely healed. Please don't misunderstand anything I'm saying. And hi, I'm Christie. I'm so great. I'm completely healed, and I went through all this. And you know what? It's a process daily. And this particular topic, getting over, I mean, I can think of a few people right now that I'm like, man, why did they use me, those jerks? Or, you know, how could they do that to me? And God, it sure would be nice to, you know, see something happen to them, right? Something happen to them back. And, you know, I have had all of those thoughts before, and I still, you know, there's even a little bit of that still in me. But, okay, here's a good, you've heard the quote, judge not, lest ye be judged. Well, see, that's more than just, judge not, lest ye be judged. That's more than just something that fearmonger religionists tell us. It's not about, you know, some big, mean, powerful, bearded dude, God in the sky that's, you know, going to start throwing thunderbolts at you. What it is, I'll use this as an example. For people, what are those people? You know, that hold up the signs that say God hates fags, for instance. You know, they have this hatred towards gay people, and, you know, we'll stick with that for an example. What's going to happen in their life? That which they have judged is going to come upon them. So their next baby, guess what? They're going to be gay. And they're going to be forced to deal with that issue and that anger. I'll use an example in my life. I was completely traumatized, mostly by men in authority positions. So I had an extreme anger and hatred towards men, especially in authority positions. Because of that, because of my unexpressed, my repressed anger, you know, my stinking thinking would, you know, bring me to conclusions like, oh, well, all men are abusers. And so what did I attract in my life? Well, a long line of men that abused me. But the thing is I needed that. I needed that to wake me up. And it did. It totally woke me up. And when I realized that that was just my perception based on my limited experience, it stopped just magically. Like I see beautiful men, gentle men, they all just started, you know, showing up in my life. And I didn't focus on the negativity and the fear, the trauma, like cops, for instance. Oh, man, talk about post-traumatic stress. When I see a cop to this day, I start shaking and, you know, I'm not as bad. I'm definitely, you know, like I said, it's a process. It takes work. But initially, I was like, all cops are abusers. All cops, you know, kill women or old people or children, or all cops are Nazis. And when you say that, or when you think that, or when you feel that, that's what surrounds you. So I simply had to change my thinking and realize that that wasn't all there is. Yes, it was what I experienced for a very long time. And, you know, yes, those things exist, but it stopped happening to me when I lost the need to fight them. I started realizing that, look, we are all connected by the spirit, the breath, the air around us. And when our relationships with other people are simply mirror reflections of ourselves, and sometimes it feels great because there's really great, healthy, wonderful parts of us, and sometimes it feels really shitty because there's really dark, repressed stuff within us. And and that's just the truth. So when we get triggered by something, Tobias said this last week, trust your triggers. When we get triggered by something, like Austin is triggered by what I'm saying, you know, tonight. And that's totally fine and natural. But, you know, trust your trigger. Listen to it. What is it that really bothers you? And just see that there is more to it than just that little thing, what's inside of you? Is there a need to, want to fight back the people that are hurting you and other people? Hey, man, I've had that need 99% of my life. So it's not like, hey, there's something wrong with you, and, it's not about that at all. It's just simply noticing that within us and releasing it, just saying, I am not going to let this control me anymore. I am the master, or what is it, captain of my ship and the master of my soul.
Not about you. It's about you. You have control of your emotions. You are the master of your own domain. I understand that, but you just cannot close your eyes and pretend everything is honky-dory, and it's going to be honky-dory, because there is evil out in the world, and if everyone closed their eyes and pretend everything's honky-dory, this evil would just manifest even more, because there would be no resistance.
Oh, I hear that, and I never said just, close your eyes and pretend it doesn't exist. I'm just saying, where are you feeding your energy? If you feed all your energy, let's say, here's another thing I used to do. Listen to, Alex Jones, and look on the computer all day and find these horrible articles of all these horrible things going on in the world, and that's where I fed my energy. Now, I was pretty sick at the time when I realized that there was so much more to this earth than that. I mean, where someone is being hurt, someone else is being lifted up. And it is part of the balance of nature. And maybe I have different views. I don't believe that death is death at all. I believe, or our views of it, I believe that it is actually a rebirth. So I no longer fear that, or fear, that, if I live the way I want to live and homeschool my children and grow my own food and medicine, they're going to come get me. Let me tell you, that's a perfect example. I was afraid, everything I read, well, if I have a garden in my front yard, they're going to come get me, and if I homeschool my children, they're going to come get me, and if I, expose these politicians and all of these things, they're going to come get me, and guess what happened? They came and got me. They came and got me and took my children, kidnapped my children at gunpoint, live on the air, on my radio show. I do believe that I brought that on myself because of the fear, the vibration.
No.
I contribute to it. That which I feared has come upon me.
I hear what you're saying, Christie. There's something that I was thinking about while you were talking about loving your enemy or whatever, or just forgiving them and loving them. I gave myself permission because I had been conditioned that I have to love my neighbor, I have to love my enemy. So I started looking at all those things, all these things that I've been taught, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to love people who hate me anymore. I'm giving myself permission to hate them. This was about 3 weeks ago. So, or a month ago, I posted on Facebook, I give myself permission to hate these people that have hurt me, and I don't care if you don't like it. Too bad. I hate them. And since then, I don't really hate them anymore.
Exactly.
And it's like, what happened? I just gave myself permission to hate them.
Isn't that amazing? Because it's about energy. You allowed yourself to feel those forbidden emotions, right? And when you feel it and when you express it, it loses its hold over you. And so, I hear where you're coming from, Austin. You're so very sweet, and I feel, your passion and your love for humanity. And of course, did I do something to deserve it? Like, did I abuse my children or anything like that? No, but that which I have feared has come upon me. Please remember those words, because it has, my grandmother used to tell me that, and I never understood it until I saw it in action. When I used to fear cops so badly that I would shake and hyperventilate, and I thought they were all bad. Well, guess what? That's all I saw. Since I expressed my anger and release that, I actually see good ones now. That's so weird. So we bring about, as we talked about earlier, our thoughts are energy. So when we're in that vibration, we attract that to us. So whether you're, and I was unconscious of it. I didn't have the desire to harm anyone in the world, except I'm like, you know what, you jerks. Somebody needs to stop you, and, I'm a crusader, and I'm going to get you back. I'm not going to let you hurt one more child on this planet. And, I did everything I could. I exposed a sex trafficking ring. I really stirred up the hornet's nest big time. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I absolutely would. So it doesn't mean ignore things. It just change the reason, change your thinking about it. Don't let it absorb your whole life. Don't let it paralyze you. Oh, they're coming to get me, and there's chemtrails, and the water's poison, so, why bother growing anything because that's going to be poison too, and, oh, there's nothing I can do because there's radiation in the water, and when we focus on that, that's what we get back. When we realize, yeah, that's going on, and it's wonderful to know these things. Knowledge is absolutely power. We should know, but that should tell us or teach us how we can deal with it. And so when we step outside of that and find new ways to deal with it is when the healing begins, and you'll start seeing the results of your efforts. And I'm not lying to you, they're not easy. It is so hard. You might go through a dark night of the soul if you attempt to, do the mirror, mirror on the wall. I'm the most screwed up of them all. And ask God for healing, or goddess or source or whoever, ask God for healing. God, what is inside me that I need to release? And then just wait for the answer.
Don't you think that's probably why most people don't do that? Because I know for me it was extremely hard facing my demons. And
that work.
Oh, I didn't do it many more times than I did because, I would start to, and it was just too devastating to realize my role in these things. Because I understand what you're saying about fear, what you fear will happen, because it's happened to me so many times.
Yeah, I know.
But you're right that it does, having some horrible thing happen to you erases the fear of it.
Yes.
It really does.
You're so right. I mean, that is so true, because after you've already been through it, after you've been totally stripped down, cut to the core, well, hey, what else can happen now? Okay, you're going to try to shoot me again? Come on, good luck. What are you going to do, kick out my children again? Well, good luck. What are you going to, what, am I going to have cancer again? Yeah, big deal. Bring it on. So it is experience, but the problem is, initially, in the difficulty of it, we're stuck in that duality and denial. I wanted to blame, initially with my physical illnesses, I wanted to blame God. I'm like, God, you are such an asshole. How can you do this to children? How can you let little children be raped? How can you, and then I came to the conclusion that, wow, I must have really been a bad person in a past life, and God's punishing me, so I deserve it. And, there was all these emotions and anger and rage, and, God would, well, I don't know, a voice would talk back to me and, sometimes just laugh at me and sometimes just listen and let me get it out. And after that, the answer would come. It's like, oh, okay, now I see what I'm doing to bring these situations about. And, of course, everybody has that. Everybody has free will, and then you go deeper into this study, and, then you'll start asking questions like, well, wait, whose free will is stronger? If I want this and Tammy wants that, and we, come together in a head-on collision, who's going to win, right? Mm. But see, it's not that either. It's just a dance. It's just a tango. We're just actors. We're just puppets. This isn't even real. This is not real. There is so much more to life.
Hey, Christie, you know what is hilarious about what you just said about our head-on collision? We actually had a head-on collision, and we both came out winners.
Okay, perfect example. I mean, what, you and I could have, like, harbored resentment against each other, right?
Yep.
What would that do?
Nothing.
Who is that going to heal? That's so dumb. I mean, and, you know, it's normal, totally normal in human relationships. And, you know, somebody says something and there's a misunderstanding and then ego takes over and it's, wow, I can't believe she said that. Damn it, I'm going to go get her and I'm going to prove myself. And, you know, all of these cycles that we go through emotionally, but all we're doing, what are we feeding? It's so silly.
Well, another thing, too, just to talk about what Austin is saying, is in relation to what you're saying, Christie, is you're right when it comes to politics. The things that Austin and I hate about politics happen because people are perpetuating them. People believe the lies. People go to the rallies. People vote. People do all the stuff that keeps the politics going.
Yep. And, hey, there was a time where I believed in that, and I was like, oh, Ron Paul, till, I don't know, the end of 2007 he was my great last hope, right? Wasn't that the slogans on all the stickers, you know, the last hope? And so I fell for it, and I fed that my energy, and then I realized I'm feeding an illusion. And, you know, it was fearful to step out, you know, let's move to the country, let's live off the land, let's, you know, homeschool and cure cancer and do all these things. But I still did it in fear. And I do believe that contributed to why what happened to me did. I believe there is a better way to do that and just not let them get to you. You know, okay, let's say, you know, somebody knocks on your door and, hi, I'm here from the government and I'm here to help. Or, you know, obviously that's when you have to deal with them and fight back and all of this. But going out of your way to try to hurt someone who, you know, did you wrong or whatever, we're just perpetuating a system that is not real. Not real. Oh gosh, this is just one small segment of what we really are. And, you know, people want to say we're, a body harboring a spirit. And I don't think so. I think we are pure spirit in a physical body right now, and that physical body right now is a manifestation of where we are. And each of these disabilities or, you know, things that we're in denial about are opportunities for healing. Look at these challenges as opportunities as opposed to obstacles. And ask yourself, where can I grow here? How can I make the best of this situation? How can I overcome this? How can I heal this? Love yourself. Love everyone around you. That doesn't mean give in to that bad vibration and the parasites and the people that are trying to hurt you. Not at all. Love them from afar. Just understand that they are in denial and they are unconscious, and that's okay. God allowed them to be unconscious. God allowed me to be unconscious.
All right, guys. I guess that's it. We're done.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I hope you'll come back, Christie, because I think you have a lot more that we could learn from you.
I would love to teach you some essential oils or things like that and how easy it is to help ourselves in a really loving, gentle way. I'd be honored. Thank you.
Oh, we would be honored, too. That would be great. So we'll be in touch to get you back on, maybe next month.
Guys, thank you so very much, Tammy and Austin. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming.
All right. That's it. It's a wrap.
Oh, poor Austin. But, yeah, okay, so everybody stick in. We're going to stick around and stay tuned. We're going to go rebroadcast now